Yo, what's up everybody, and welcome to a different setting here. That is the infamous, most beautiful Table Mountain behind us here in Cape Town, South Africa. And it's an absolute cracker of a winter's day. The waves are absolutely pumping. Well, coming up in our next episode, as promised, we are dropping in on the flying Hawaiian Jeff Hubbard, known for his aerial antics and not afraid to hit any lip that presents itself. And you know what? Just a humble, to the core, great human being. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode like I'm enjoying this view. Well, everybody, I am dropping in on bodyboarding god, that is Jeff Hubbard. Jeff, welcome to the Lockdown Showdown, and this is the drop-in section, and you're on the Bodyboarding News Network, and we are so stoked to have you. You've been an idol in bodyboarding as long as I can remember, and yeah, cheers to that. You're on the T and I'm on the B, as we say in Australia. So welcome to the show, man. What's been up? How's life been, and how's lockdown been treating you guys? Like, how's just in general, like how's things been the last couple of months?
Man, it's just been pretty great. I have zero complaints. We've just been having nonstop waves, just since lockdown started. It's just been pumping all shores of the island. A lot of waves the whole time. So, we've been able to go surfing the whole time. We haven't been able to go. I guess you can't really go out, but I never really went out anyhow, so that didn't really affect me. I just went surfing and could do that as much as I needed to do, and that was fun. You get to go to the beach with my family and hang out, and so it's been pretty nice, man. Really slowed down life a little bit here, so you get to all the neighbors are hanging and get to talk to people a little more because everyone's not quite as busy. So it's really great. So it's been a positive experience, I would say. We're here.
Not too bad. And the fact that you guys have been having such good waves so late in the season, that's pretty weird, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it was good all the way up through the beginning of May. We had waves all the beginning, even mid-May. So it is rare to get a good swell in May. It's very rare to get a decent swell in May. We usually get little north swells in May, but not like a kind of a decent one. So that was kind of special. And April was kind of the best April you could ask for. Is almost as good as any month of the year. Is better than January, I would have said.
Really?
So that's how good it was. So that was pretty impressive.
And minus all the crowds, I suppose.
Yeah, it was still pretty crowded some of the days. You'd get some empty days. Some days with just a couple guys out, and then some days with 100 guys out. So it just kind of fluctuate because everyone was here, so everyone would see this cherry pick their days that they wanted to surf in this COVID life.
Yeah, the COVID life. I think that's what we should call it now, because I mean this has changed. I mean, for us and for a lot of people all around the world, it has changed the way we look at things. It's changed the way
it has.
We approach
the plane going right there. We don't see those planes too often anymore. So that's that's a pretty rare occurrence, having a plane fly by these days. During lockdown, we had like 0 planes fly by for like a month. There was and I kind of lived near a flight path, so I would see them all the time like that. And so we didn't have anything. Like for a month, 0 planes in the air, which I thought was pretty wild.
Yeah, man. I mean, I saw now that you mention it, I actually saw my first plane yesterday since lockdown. I mean, there's been a couple of choppers around, but that's literally the first airplane coming into Cape Town that I saw. I mean, obviously there's been a few repatriation flights, but I mean, man, it's how good is this for the environment, though? Let's talk about that for a second. How good is this whole pause on everything been for the environment?
I think it's really good, but I heard a stat today that the CO2 levels in the atmosphere last month were the highest they'd ever been. So I don't know.
Strange.
So that's wild, isn't it? Isn't that nuts? So last month, May, was the highest CO2 levels ever recorded. So it trips you out. Like, okay, what happened? I mean, I guess you just go back to all the manufacturing in Asia just started right back up and went in full steam. Everything was full force in April for them, or like that last month. So just pushed in everything in the CO2 levels. Wild. Yeah, I don't know. It should be great for the environment. That's what you're thinking. That's what I would be hoping. I hope so. but I don't know. That stat didn't sound promising. I didn't like it.
No, I don't like it either. I mean, we can see it, Jay. We can actually see all the vast amount of birds coming in that you usually won't see around here. I mean, the ocean life is actually a lot more visible. It's a lot more vibrant, so it's definitely, we can see from our side that there's been some sort of a increase or a improvement, which is quite nice. But I mean,
no, totally.
Lived there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we got here. There's no tourists in Hawaii. We survive on tourism, so that it's tough for a lot of people, the job situation. But the other side of it is like, gas is really cheap. You can actually get cheap fish now. Before, the fish was super expensive because all the fish would be caught and go straight to the restaurants for the tourists. Now you can go in the supermarket and get a slab of ahi for $20, and just like I've never been able to do that. So I can actually have cook a nice meal for my family, where I usually would have to spend $50 if I wanted that same piece of fish at a restaurant. So that was pretty nice. I was like, well, I could get used to buying, eating a nice piece of tuna every week. It's pretty rare. Usually couldn't really afford to do that before.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. So now that we're talking about businesses and stuff like that, how did the brand, I mean, both you and your brother, the Hubbard's name, your name and his name has been synonymous to bodyboarding for a long time. If you think bodyboarding, you think you think Mike, you think your brother, it's just, was the creating Hubbard's, the board brand, the surf brand, whatever you want to call it, was that just like a next logical step? Or was that kind of a step that, all right, well, the industry is lacking, it's time for you guys to do your own thing? How did that come about?
I mean, I think it was probably a combination of the two, for sure. I mean, it's something I've been planning to do since I started my bodyboarding career. I think it was something that I'd always had wanted to do. So, I went to business school and got my MBA and all that. So I definitely, had aspirations for this, and it was just the timing was right. So it's just a matter of when the timing is going to be right to implement it. And it was, kind of a perfect storm in 2013. So it worked out great for us, and it was the perfect time to do it. And it's been going amazing since, and so we've just been having the best time having our own brand and being able to make the products that we want to make. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's so cool that you guys got a South African on board.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. You can just text Jerry and call up my friend and do stuff with him whenever we want. It's rad.
That's fantastic. And you know what? I just can't think of a better ambassador or athlete to have, also two-time world champ. I've also known him for a very long time, and he actually, I think he was 14. Now, how old is Jerry? I think he was 12 or 13, and then myself, him, and another mate of ours, Donovan Bassett. You might have run into him. Big guy, big mouth, just a lot of energy. Any case, so we went surfing, and I just started getting into it. I was a little bit older, and then he actually taught me how to roll, and he taught me a bunch of stuff, So,
wow.
Well, Jerry
That's
and I,
so cool.
Interesting. I mean, I've seen him at his best, and sometimes a few beers too many in the younger days. We had some good times because we were surfing competitively in the same province, and he just became.
Wow, that must have been fun.
Yeah. It's been such an idol in this country. People look up to him in many ways, and the fact that we've got last 5 years we got 3 world champs and one. I mean, it's Jerry, Jan, and Tristan.
Yep.
Cheapers. We've got no money in this country, and guys.
So exactly, isn't it? It's just amazing. It's one of those. Yeah, those. I'm not sure what the effect that they call it is, but it's one of those. Cause and effect kind of things that just happen. It's really cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I reckon it's just that hunger, of just want to do something and just set your sights to it and just focus, so.
Because once you see someone be able to do it, it creates that opportunity in your head, oh, it's possible. So once, Jared did it, Andre did it first, and then everyone was like, oh, I can do that. So then everyone started to it just becomes more available. Like, oh, I can do that. He did it. Like, so it just, once you realize it in your head that it's possible, you really are able to take those steps to make it a reality. It's a lot easier to formulate in your head. It doesn't seem like something that's so far off. And once it is obtainable in your head, you can go and obtain it physically.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can really if you just put your mind to it, ding, bang, you can get it. But it's much easier said than done. But I really want to talk to you a little bit about something that's been very influential for all of us as bodyboarders and as Groms and stuff like that. And that is the whole No Friends series, especially the early days. I mean, man, that was just, we would queue outside the surf stores knowing that day they got copies of No Friends. You buy the DVD, all the boys will run to someone's house, will watch it, and just freak out when you hit the lip and you fly 7 years ahead of everybody. It's just crazy. Like, how did the No Friends thing start? I mean, was it just a group of mates just, hey, man, I got a camera, you got a camera, let's just start something? Or was it maybe a bit more calculated?
Yeah, I think it was more calculated. I mean, it was definitely a little more calculated, I think, by Ross. He was kind of the mastermind behind the organization. Like, hey, we should do a video. He had his, the group of guys that had the interest and that he thought would be his friends he wanted to do it with. And so we all just kind of like, yeah, that's good. And we rallied around it, the idea of, paying for Stoker to travel around the world and film us. And that just kind of inspired the concept. And just we built on it from there. So it was pretty rad that we were able to pull it off in our younger days when we really didn't have a clue of how to build a business or anything like that. But it actually made it happen through a lot of trial and error for sure. But that's how business is.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk a little bit about those premieres, those massive No Friends, balls to the walls, epic party premieres. I mean, any memorable ones that
oh man,
you call that the guys
so
got
many.
Seriously no good?
Yeah, I mean, we had so many. We just tour up and down California. We'd go to Australia, tour up and down there, and East Coast of the U.S. and all those places we do that. A couple of years, that's all we'd be doing is just touring around touring with the movie, promoting it. So it's just definitely a blur because we did it so many times and so many premieres, and they're all so fun. I mean, every one of them was just awesome. Just you can meet so many people, and it's like everyone is so stoked on bodyboarding, and you just kind of but at the time you're just kind of just trying to get to the next one. You're packing up, putting it out there, just having a good time. Then you're just, okay, we got to get to the next one. You're on a schedule, on a deadline, go to the next, drive to the next town, get it set up and do it all over again. Cause obviously time was, limited. We couldn't just cruise forever, but every premiere we did was definitely, pretty special and, really cool. Just good vibes, bodyboarding vibe. That's the best thing about them all, is just you got to experience bodyboard vibes with everyone else who bodyboards. And bodyboarding is so special. I think people really like come together as a community when there's an opportunity. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, definitely bodyboarding being such a big community-based thing, and the whole community itself. I mean, the world tour, when guys are there at the events, I mean, it's not this cold camaraderie. Everybody's hanging out. Everybody's having a good time. Some guys will go have a beer afterwards. Some guys, just no bad vibes or real animosity within all the sports and stuff like that. And that's what makes our sport so super unique. But then just back to the No Friends. When you guys started off, did you ever envision it to get as big or as successful or as popular, and having to travel the world from country to country doing your premieres and just kind of seeing and reaching out to a whole new bodyboarding frontier, surfing new ways, seeing new people? I mean, that's just kind of part of the parcel, isn't it?
Yeah, we never anticipated it doing what it did, for sure. I think it blossomed into something none of us had felt like a reality at that time. Those huge premieres and just resonating with the younger generation at the time, and all the kids that were our age. We really resonated with those, with all of us, and that little crew. We were able to really affect a lot of people and ourselves. So it just made it about bodyboarding fun. It was just making it fun, and so by making it seem so fun and us having fun, which was the reality, everyone else was able to want to pick up a bodyboard and go do those same things with their friends and go to go on a road trip and maybe travel to another country and go on a fun surf trip. And so we just really made it seem, I think, accessible for a lot of people, and kind of accentuated the traveling vibe for bodyboarding for around the world, and probably blew up the sport in a certain aspect that I don't think it ever thought we'd have that impact, a global impact that we did, but it sure did. I think it really helped promote, push the sport in a huge direction during that time.
Yeah, during that time, I mean, the sport was really booming, and it was, industry was quite strong. There was quite a lot of good things coming out of it. And then if you have to now sit back as you are and you're thinking, what were the two most memorable trips that you took with the No Friends crew? It could be anything or anywhere, and then why? I mean, is it just waves, or the people? Was it, name specific something, maybe a specific way that you guys really?
Yeah, I think the first one we took all together to South Africa was really memorable, and I think that was just our first trip together. I mean, no one ever really did trips with Roach, so that was not too often. I think he came to Australia once, so I mean, maybe that Australia trip we did with Roach was pretty memorable because we're all together finally, and then the one when we all went to South Africa together, that was really cool. So that was our first trip, and so both those are really memorable. Australia trip and South Africa trip, those were really cool. Just something about the people there, and exploring the new coastlines and surfing all those new waves, and just all the great bodyboarders in those two countries, just always welcoming us with open arms, and just the good vibes that flowed.
Yeah, that's really good. Do you find yourself a bit of a foodie when you travel? And what did you think about the South African cuisine whilst you were down?
South African cuisine, the boerewors, all that. The bunny chow was just
bunny chow. So wait. What was your first reaction when the guys told you we're gonna go have some bunny chows? What did you think you're about to eat?
The guys, it just was wild. Then they explained to me, it's just this curry in bread, and they eat bunny chow because of the name from the Indians or something like that. And you're like, okay, well, yeah, it sounds great. Curry and half a loaf of bread sounds delicious. And then it was just melted my lips. So I just one bite and I was done. Baby mouth, as Spencer used to call me. So I just couldn't handle it. But it was tasty, man. All the food in South Africa, steers, and all those pretty cool little places were rad. Nando's is great chicken. Nando's is world class.
Yeah, Nando's is actually, pretty damn good. Yeah. Pretty damn good.
Quality, tip top.
Nothing like a boerewors on a roll, like a booty roll, or nice braai. I mean, you guys call braai barbecues over there, and we call it a braai. So
I think everyone just always, barbecues are really great for everyone just to get around and have that community vibe with. So they're pretty special. Wherever you are in the world, have a barbecue with someone. It's in their country, it's great. South Africans have pretty great barbecuing techniques, and so it's pretty great to watch them go to town.
Yeah, I think we get taught how to braai at the age of 3.
Yeah, braai master. The braai master. Who's the braai master?
That's it. Very, once you braai master, you never go back. That's it. Let's talk about Mexico 2012. I think it's a Zicatella Pro then when it was stupidly big, and that final was just insane. Or the lead up, that whole event, all that waves was just mind blowing. I mean, it's probably as good as it gets, right?
Yeah, 2011 Mexico when I made the final with Ryan. Yeah, that year was insane. It was huge. That final day was massive, and the whole event was pretty darn good. And that, Zicatella, contest at Zicatella is just perfect. So it's one of my favorite venues to have a contest at. So it's pretty special. And to have the waves of that size in that final is just unreal. And final day. So, and luckily we had jet skis because it was almost impossible to get out if you didn't have a jet ski assist because it was so big.
Imagine trying to paddle that. I just saw. I can remember Jared pulling into this massive closeout, fist in the air, and just claiming that one. I mean, you were finding you were sniffing out some bombs at that stage. I mean, you were really calculated. I mean, what I could see from the feed is you kind of took your time and you were picking off certain ways. Was that kind of your game plan?
Totally.
It's just kind of have to be in the right spot at the right time?
Exactly. I mean, at that size, when it's so big and closing out, you have to just pick the waves that were going to allow you to get a score. So that's, you're really calculating your waves based on if they're going to, what your scoring opportunity was going to be on each one of them. Because, you can take off on the biggest wave of the day, but if it's not going to allow you anything but a closed out barrel, you're not going to get over one or two. So you had to really be calculated. And that was definitely my game plan out there during that contest. It was really, really being really calculated because you didn't want to waste time either getting in those situations. Because if you one wrong move, you could get stuck inside for 5 minutes, even with a ski.
Yeah, the ski can get you and a bit of a mission and just losing valuable time. I mean, you've been competing for so many years and you've had some memorable moments. I mean, you've had a great career and you still, last year you came to Floppos to Arica and that was just so cool having you there, and it was really cool sharing the booth with you for a while, and having you and Jerry surf against one another was also like,
that was cool.
Like one of those modern day unsung epic heats where, you got employer, employee, who's gonna win. We had this little wager.
You guys staying together.
So
it's good vibes.
Employee. And man, like our numbers on that specific heat trebled. It literally went from, I think it was like hovering to about 1,000 something views, and it kind of went close to 3,000 views, for that 1 hour leading up. And, that was nuts. I mean, the world just tuned in to watch you guys surf.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. I mean, it's not often, you probably haven't had too many heats versus a Jared, right? Was that like one of...
That's a good question. We've had a few, for sure. We've had a few. More than, I feel like I've had more heats versus him than some other competitors for some reason. And it's kind of gone both ways. It's probably even, I would say. It's definitely, it would be really close on either side who's got, more wins than the other person. So that's for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Jared prefers the right. You probably prefer the left a bit more. So when you have like a perfect day at Floppos with those massive walls running through on the right, and you got those big barrels coming through on the left, and you have a split peak moment, I think that could be Jerry on the right, you on the left. That could be something to watch. And it just,
totally.
How's Jacob's invert? I mean, it's probably the third time we're talking about it in the Sim series.
Oh, the dyno invert. Oh man, yeah. I just told him that morning, just hit it, just go for it, and because it was massive that day. I think that was 2012 or 11. No, that was 11. So that was 2011. That was 11 as well. We just had massive waves. In 2011, the tour was just blessed with mental waves, and 12 we had really good waves too. Both those years we had epic waves. But anyhow, so yeah, that invert was just giant. T-Rex was so crazy. Yeah, Dave, I think, was caddying for him. Dave was just...
That's it.
Saw him just take off and started paddling in because he knew what Jacob was going to do. He's like, I better get inside and try to save him because he's going to launch, and I better try to go save him. Wow. He already knew what was going to happen, he said.
And then he just made the Hawaiians proud. I can't believe, like...
Oh, yeah, super proud.
He just said, like, it felt like home. It felt like Honolulu. And, I think he even said, like, F it, I'm just going to hit it. Like...
Oh, yeah.
And then he went. Like, that T-Rex comparison was quite incredible. And
so cool.
My brother said from till this day, that's hands down one of the biggest things he's ever seen someone do. I mean, he would have probably got the
sure.
of his life, but instead he just went up to hit it, and
so wild.
Sitting in that channel and you just see that they play real time. I mean, it's something
pretty cool. That's what's so special about our sport. That's what's so special about bodyboarding. Really, really awesome stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2011, 2012, the IBA years. I mean, man, those were 2 incredible years for competitive bodyboarding. I mean,
Definitely.
having the budget they had, and the events and
Exactly.
the locations, the box. Geez, there's so much happening. I mean, front on that
Yeah.
year was
Both
stupendous.
years.
Both years, yes.
Both years front on. Both years was mental. Every contest was pretty special. Both those years, they had such good waves and such good vibes. So it's pretty amazing. Really cool.
And it was kind of sustainable as well at that stage, for the athletes. Like you guys, there's a lot of events. There's decent prize purses on.
Yeah, prize money was good. 35, 40 grand or something each event. So it's great.
Yeah. Now, if you can
so
get
it's really
that,
good.
geez, that's insane. I mean, the Antofagasta. Hello.
Jackie, are you a superhero?
Oh, wow, look at you.
Super Jackie, to the rescue. Say hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie. Are you the Jackie bug? Cute, man.
Yeah, stoked.
There you go. Oh, we're the joys of family, yeah.
Yeah, good vibes.
I actually just had a chat.
Make quarantine pretty special, for sure.
I'm sure. I mean, not traveling. You're spending time at home now.
Exactly.
Those things I'm not gonna say take it for granted, but this additional family time that is just it's amazing, and you can just cherish that. I mean, in your previous,
indeed, yeah,
5, 6 years ago, you're on the road almost every other.
Well, I didn't travel too much since Jackie was born. I stopped traveling a lot, but just because I wanted to enjoy more time with her, so I kind of put traveling a little bit on hold. But I would still be gone, a couple trips a year. So, and definitely at this time during the year, I'd usually take a trip somewhere. So I wouldn't be, so I would definitely be missing family time for sure. So it's great to be home.
And how long was your DIY list during lockdown? Like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. So I wish I
got some cool stuff done. I did it. Yeah, I kind of punched through it. I feel like I did pretty good.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got all my gardening done. Got, feel like you're on tap. Almost a few little things left, and really crossed everything off.
I mean, like you said, it's not all negative. It's just a good positive time for you guys there, and
yes,
just
being able to surf.
Being able
and
to
I think
surf.
just being able to surf, I think is such a positive thing for your mind. So like you can kind of get through anything. If you can get in the water and catch waves and be physically active and do something you love, you're going to always be able to find the positivity and stay positive. It's when you aren't able to do something that you're so passionate about, like you I guess would get really trying for people and really spin them out. So I felt really bad for a lot of the world that couldn't go to the beach during this time, because it was just, such an intense time, but you couldn't go and let off any steam or do things you really wanted to do. So that was tough. Yeah,
it's been super frustrating. I mean, down here, it's been very, very, very frustrating, very testing. Yeah. But just got to take it in your stride now. What can you do?
Yes, exactly.
Keep and stay positive, and
that's all you can do.
Just pray, and everything will be okay at the end of the day. So it's as simple as
Definitely.
that. But let's go back a little bit to your competitive years. I mean, firstly, let's talk a little bit about your BZ Hub. I mean, that was one of the most iconic boards, modern iconic boards, with a graphic on, and the whole Viper fin combo. Like, I know so many mates that just wanted to be Jeff. Like, where did you get that little graphic? Is that something you drew up? Is it?
No, something just the guys came up with it. The guys are at VZ were at that time, they were working with a lot of their partners with the wakeboard company, I guess, because the parent company owned a Liquid Force. So Liquid Force and them were under the same building. So they would, they were seeing what the wakeboarders were doing with sublimation, graphic sublimation. And so they were able to implement stuff like that in their production. So they would, get a roll of, you get clear slick. I guess they never really used Surlyn. It was always clear HD slick. So they'd have a clear HD slick, and then they'd sublimate the graphic underneath in sheets. So that was something they were able to do. And so it's pretty amazing. It's one of those companies that were able to do something super unique and special and really come up with something that was, eye-catching and that everyone really enjoyed using because they were kind of like pleasing our work. And I think at that time, because the numbers of bodyboarders that were able to buy the boards, and they were able to sell, you could do the minimum orders, for a slick like that, it's 2,000 units. Jeez. Something like that, which is nowadays no company can do that. You just can't. Yeah. It's not affordable to buy you just can't get a one graphic of one slick and just try and sell 2,000 units. You'd have that for years. So it's just people can't really afford to do that. Whereas that BZ graphic, I was changing that every year. So you can imagine the number of. I wasn't changing it, but it was changing every year. So you could imagine that they were able to sell through all those graphics every year for like 5 years. That's just how much bodyboards were being sold at that stage. So you can imagine the difference in the bodyboarding market compared to now from then.
Yeah, it's quite strange how the market has kind of just shrunk a bit. Not a bit, it shrunk a lot, and it's kind of like it's just so small and very focused at the moment. It's just very weird how it went from full on mass production in the 90s into the 2000s, and then just gradually slowing down, and now it's just on this consistent little up and down.
Yeah.
But I just suppose that's how the economy works at this.
Yeah, I think it's just a niche, a niche hardcore sport, and it's something it's not for everyone. It's just for hardcore riders that just have the passion. And bodyboarding isn't mainstream. It's never has been. If you bodyboard, you want to be different. So if you want to be the same as everyone else, you're a surfer. If you want to be somewhat different and you have your own individuality and express yourself in a certain way, you're going to bodyboard. And so that's most of the world is just trying to be uniform these days and be cool. And so they're all sheep. So if you want to be a sheep, you go surf on your Mal and buy your Costco boards and do all that crap. But if you want to be, individualistic, you're going to go bodyboard and you say, I don't give an F. That's just what we do. And as bodyboarders, that's basically our statement. If you bodyboard, you just basically say, yeah, guys, I don't give an F. Hey, I'm having fun regardless. So that's what we do. And it's awesome.
Yeah, full on. And you've been keeping that shape kind of your whole life. Is that so?
Yep.
That specific
definitely. I had that shape.
Why haven't you changed to crescent, or is it that's just you? This is what works for me.
I don't want to change. What works. It's just it's what I like using. It what works. I get more speed off that bat tail, that shape. And what I found was, being in Hawaii, we do get really good waves, but we also have some summertime. We have small waves, and back in the day, we also used to do a lot of contests all around the nation. So that template was really good in whatever conditions. I'd go to California, I could ride it really well. I could go to the East Coast, I could ride that same template everywhere because it was a little, just the way it was shaped with the bat tail, it was just perfect. So, and it just lent itself to riding any of those waves. You get a lot of speed, I guess. In the smaller surf, you get a lot of more speed and you're more stable and able to land your moves easier. So that's something that I just was like, man, I'm not going to compromise what I'm doing to try and get a shape like everyone else. Like, I'm going to use what's working for me. And I think that's why the boards actually sold so well, is because anyone who actually ever used that shape was just be like, oh my gosh, I'm actually riding the wave way better because it's wider and a little wider. They're getting more speed. They're able to land moves all of a sudden. And it's kind of a game changer for at least people in the US. It was like a perfect shape for California and East Coast, for people who aren't always riding pipeline or stuff like that. But I mean, hey, my board also works at pipeline too. So, but I think it was more for those people that are surfing average waves, and I think that's why it was such a great shape, and it's probably one of the, and still is one of the top selling, shapes in the world.
Yeah, I think it's a versatility that makes it so successful. The fact that you say you can take it out to screaming 10-foot pipe and then go surf 3-foot mush. You're gonna get the performance. You're gonna get what you want from that board, and it takes years for you to come up with that template and to perfect it. And it's just quite awesome to have it readily available under your own brand right now. So yeah, it's good that it's not gone.
Yeah.
It's good that it's being looked after.
Exactly.
And it's good that it's there for future. And that's what I love about it. And that's what I love about bodyboarding. It's just, it's just given us so many good memories of our life. I mean, in my case, in your case, 70, I'm just spitballing here, but at least 70% of my good memories come from the ocean, come from bodyboarding related things, so it's just being in the ocean. It's just such a blessing, and being able to do what we do is even more of a blessing.
Bodyboarding related stuff is just, that's the kind of the cornerstone of, any bodyboarder's life, is just stuff that revolves around the ocean and those memories and everything attracted to them. So I agree totally. It's a good number, probably 70%. That's a good ratio, I would say. That's probably right up there with most bodyboarders' experiences. Their friends and their everything.
So sorry, Jeff. So let's zoom back to probably I want you to name one of your most memorable contest events that was probably, you can either say your world title or actual event with the sickest waves or something like that, or something that actually happened that really till today has left a mark on you.
Gosh, I mean, I think there's quite a few. Luckily, there is quite a few for me. The first time I won at Pipeline was pretty special. When I won Pipeline, that was a pretty special day. I think I won two contests at Pipe that day. We had that was pretty emotional. Just winning that first event at Pipe was just like to me, that felt like what I always wanted to achieve in the sport, because growing up, you always watch the Pipeline on TV. And so by watching it on TV all the time and, seeing your heroes compete in there and finally competing for so many years and finally winning was just like, that was basically something that just like, got me over that. I don't know, just set me up for the rest of my life, I guess. Just, gave me that confidence, and also just this lifelong dream to fulfill that. I felt like I could just retire after that. I was just so stoked. It's just something that you could never take away. And then I guess winning the world title at Pipe, my first world title at Pipe, that was probably pretty special too. That contest was also real special. Winning the contest, winning at Pipe, and winning the world title on the same day was, pretty amazing. And then, gosh, there's a whole host of other ones, I guess you could say, where just the emotions of that day were pretty spectacular. Zigatella 2011. I think there was a contest in Arica with me and GT. That was a pretty amazing year. I think 90. I think that was 2006 Arica was pretty special. So that was, there's a lot of really cool moments.
Well, I mean, it's maybe a bit of a vague question to ask, given your lengthy career and all the highs that you've had, but I mean, when it comes to high, you're the guy that still flies the highest in between all of us. So tell me quickly, if you have to, who's the one athlete right now on the world tour or in the bodyboarding that you would not want to face in your prime and in his prime in, let's say, perfect floppers? It's like the one guy that you would actually be nervous to take head to head.
I think there's a lot of them. There's so many guys that are just shoot straight up. So many guys are really, really good, because I mean that's what's so great about the sport, is that you do see a progression in that, and the guys like Pierre, he's just really so talented, and he's one of those guys. I think you wouldn't want to face him in any conditions in any event ever. Yeah. He's that good. I mean, you have to go up against. You always have to beat the best to be the best. And I've surfed against him in his. He's been in his prime for many years, and so we've had to surf against each other a lot. And it's it's one of those things. You go up against a guy like that, and you're like, well, it's like when I was always surfing against Dave Winchester back in the day, or Ryan Hardy. It's just like those guys, when they're in their prime and we're surfing against each other in GT. It's like you never want to heat. You never like I guess, stoked to be like, oh, I got to surf against them. You're just like, okay, well, yep. It's just going to be a battle. Those ones, they're always a battle. There's never any easy heats, and they're always battles. So you just got to go out there and just give it. And so, I mean, it does make it easier on your psyche, because for me, it's always was like made it a lot easier when you have a really hard heat. Because if you have the easy heat, so is the tough one. All right, Jackie. Bye. Love you. Have a good day. See you later. Give Daddy a kiss.
Jackie.
3. Give Daddy a kiss. Mwah. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, man. Is she heading off to school?
Yep. Going to daycare right now for a little bit.
Nice. Daycare.
So that's good.
It's not daddy daycare at the moment.
No, yeah, daddy daycare. Although if daddy had to do daycare, there'd be no surfing, or no work getting done. So we got a little bit of daycare because my wife works from home and I work from home. So luckily we're able to get that done. And luckily that was going through the quarantine as well. So we were lucky. We're able to, both work and both do what we need to do. She's stoked. She gets to go play with her friends at the daycare. So everyone wins.
Hey, as long as she can play, she's a happy kid.
Exactly. She's stoked. That's what she gets to do.
The simple life. No mortgages, no rent, no nothing, no medical bills.
No.
Just eat, sleep, play, and repeat.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, play, repeat.
The good old days, dude. I mean, geez, man, thanks for everything that you've done for the sport. I don't think anybody actually just goes up, hey, Jeff, I'm sure people have done it, but you've been an icon. You've been an icon for all of us. And I think I speak for the broader bodyboarding core groups and everybody that's a fan, you and Dave both, you guys were and still are pioneers in the sports and, new age legends. So you've done so much for the sport and it's really appreciated. And it's been such a cool journey watching you guys. Just
thanks,
surf.
man. Thanks.
Every time when you guys surf, it's just crazy. It's just like, it's iconic, and it takes a lot of years to get there. It takes a lot of grinding. It takes a lot of hard work to get there. And people often look past that.
We're lucky. We're really lucky that we've been able to bodyboard for a career and been able to still bodyboard as our career, because that's our company, and then being able to keep pushing the sport as long as we can. It's great giving back, doing contests, putting on contests for kids and making the best equipment we can. And it's something really special. We're really blessed to be able to do that, in a position to do that. And so providing stoke for people is what I like to do. I feel like that's something I've always wanted to do. And, if you can help make people happy, that's something good in life.
Yeah, exactly. And do you feel having the business now that's kind of a progression coming out of a competitive sport into a business sphere of it and driving the industry on another level? Now that you're not competing as much, you guys are now putting back your time instead of in the water, in the workshop, behind the computers, just creating a new empire lasting in bodyboarding. And I mean, that's amazing. It's just kind of going full circle, starting from a gram, and now you're here, and now you're a businessman in the industry, and it just speaks volumes to you and your brother's passion of the sport, which is great.
Yeah, that's just bodyboarding. That's just pure love from us, pure passion. You don't ever ask all right, does it? About the money side of it, it's just man, no, it's just pure. You're doing it for the love. You bodyboard for the love always, and that's what always comes first, and that's what makes it so special. And you're not ever worried about. You never really worry about the money. You're just always trying to just do it because you love it, and so it's a real wholesome organic experience with bodyboarding. It's always kind of for the right reasons. So it's good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's always for the right reasons. And I think that is the best phrase or the best way you can put it. You don't do it because for self gain or for there is no $1 million checks in this game of ours. It's just pure love and pure stoke, and it just comes down to to passion, and it's just and the a community. I mean, it's a massive following if you actually start digging deep, So yeah, I mean, you guys turned it on the head and actually put it on the map after a couple of years. So that's been really cool.
Thanks.
So in closing, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I really, it's been an absolute
Thanks
pleasure.
for having me.
I can't wait to see you again, Bruce. I can't wait for you guys to come
Yes,
visit
it's gonna be
South
awesome.
Africa, or we
Good
see
vibes.
you on the world tour. Maybe if we're allowed to travel come the end of the year, we might see you in Fronton. That could be a goodie.
That'd be amazing. I'd love that. Or who knows? We'll just see what happens, and yeah, hopefully we get to see each other for something, contest or something. That'd be really cool.
That's
Looking
it.
forward to traveling and seeing some people again, seeing my friends, and be great.
Missing it, just missing it, like that adventure, that sense of like going somewhere back in the bags. It's kind of like it just never gets old. Well, especially now that we're locked in, you appreciate those times a lot more. But in any case, dude, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for allowing me to drop in on you. I think that's a first.
Thanks, Mumbles.
Not many people drop in on you, so yeah. Mum's out.
Dropped on in. You did it. Love it.
All right, my brother. Have a good day. I will chat to you
too.
soon.
Okay. Have a great one. Thanks. Guys, aloha.
All right, well, another great episode and such a cool insight for being Jeff Hubbard, man. What a legend. Well, still cracker here, and I'm so stoked to bring you guys this news from our next episode. Woo! We are dropping in on the king himself, Damien King, Kingy the Joker, whatever you want to call him, but man, what a legend and one of the icons of modern day bodyboarding. So until next time, stay safe, stay tuned. Mumbles out.